Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. I had to restart this live, so I apologize if you were here and you were wondering where I went. I'm back. I was having some technical difficulties, but I am back now. And I'm just on my phone, making sure that I'm showing up and I'm coming in loud and clear for everybody. Okay, and I am. And I'm going to be monitoring the chat so that if you have any questions throughout this live, please do drop them in the chat. And I am going to make sure that I answer that. Hey, Indira, thank you for tuning in with me. Come on in, my live people. Drop me a note in the chat. Let me know you're in the building. Let me know you're here. Give us a shout out. And all my replay folks, you know how we do. I love you guys so much. I might start calling you my after hours people. I thank you so much for tuning in with me whenever you are watching this. Do me a favor, as we allow some more live viewers to join, go ahead, press pause, and hit that share button for me. And if you wouldn't mind publishing this on your social media platforms, I would be so appreciative. We can get some more eyeballs on this video because I think it's going to be really beneficial for folks. And so if you could help me do that, take a couple seconds, I would be appreciative. Hey, Michelle. I'm going to share this also to my timeline while I'm asking you to do that. I'm also going to do it. And then we're going to get into this because I don't want to hold you guys too long. Got a couple of things I would love to impart, and I would love to hear your thoughts as we go through the discussion. Tonight, we're going to be talking about marketing, and this is more so targeted towards my entrepreneurs, my small business owners, my side hustlers, but I do think that it can be applied across, all industry types. If you're just a person with no business and you're just an individual, this conversation can still be applicable to you. So definitely don't close out, okay? Just take a listen to what I have to say, and you might find something that's of value. So I'm going to share this to my timeline, my newsfeed. Make sure. Okay, good. Post. So that my folks over there know that I'm live. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. Again, obviously you're here, you're tuning in for MG Live. I appreciate that so much. I'm going to take a couple more seconds to my replay folks and just introduce myself. I never take for granted that anyone coming across my videos knows who I am or is familiar with me. So let me just do that really quickly. My name is Maya Gatewood. I am a senior marketing specialist at my 9-to-5. I am a freelance graphic designer. I am the creator and owner of Empress Design and Graphics, which is my side hustle, my graphic design business. I am the creator of MDGTs, which is Empress Design and Graphics t-shirts. So I have a t-shirt line. What else do I do? I'm a lifestyle blogger. And I also have my bachelor's and my master's degree, both in fine arts. And please do visit my website, mayagatewood.com. I will drop it in the chat for all things Maya Gatewood. You can find my blog posts here. You can buy my merchandise here, mayagatewood.com/shop for merchandise. And you can get into all things Maya Gatewood. So go ahead and click that link at your leisure whenever you have a chance and check out what I have going on. So tonight, we're going to get into this discussion about marketing. I'm going to dive right in. Hopefully I won't hold you more than like 20 minutes or so. But marketing. So marketing is defined, you guys know I have to look this stuff up. So marketing is defined as the process of getting potential clients or customers interested in your products and services. The key word in this is the process, right? Because there is a process. So I'll get into that in a little bit. But marketing involves research, promoting, selling, and distributing your products and your services. So I feel like people have this preconceived notion about what marketing is, right? It can seem like this big grandiose thing and it can be overwhelming, and maybe you have like no idea even where to start, or maybe you think marketing is like one thing that it actually is not. Marketing has a lot of applications. And so I'll get into some of that too. But at the base, right, at its basic level, marketing is you have a thing, right? You want to present that thing to other people, and then you want them to take some type of action with it. That's it. That's marketing. Now, that's at the foundational level of marketing. Now, there's other layers to it. There's levels to it. There's different types of marketing. There's digital marketing. There's print marketing. There's direct marketing. There's social media marketing. There's advertising. Like, there's so many different facets to it and applications, which is why I like marketing, which is why it is my career, because I can pretty much work cross industries, cross sectors, cross customer bases. I can work with customers directly. I can work with businesses. Like, there's so many different applications that it's really a great career to go into. But so basically at its level, you have a thing, you want to show and tell that thing, and then you want somebody to do something with that thing that's going to generate revenue. Because if you're not trying to generate revenue, then you're not really, I'm not sure what you're doing. Maybe you're just doing something on a volunteer basis or for fun. But for those of us who are looking to generate an extra stream of income and generate revenue, you're going to want to make sure that your marketing is effective so that you get a return on that investment, right? And so that investment being money, monetary, right? But let's not forget the sweat equity investment, right? Because people forget that all too often. Your blood, sweat, and tears, that sometimes the late nights that go into what you have to do to produce what you have to produce, right? And so it's your labor and it's your time. Time is one of those things that you just cannot get back. I don't care what you do, how efficient you are, who's on your team. I don't care if you're a Fortune 500. Time is just, you can't get it back. That minute that we just wasted, it's never coming back to us. So you cannot forget in your pricing model, which I didn't write this, I'm kind of going off tangent a little bit, but it's important to mention that you have got to account for your time, especially if you are a service-based business and you're charging on an hourly rate. Don't underprice yourself. Sis, bro, whatever you do, come up with some type of calculation. There's a lot of apps that are out there. There's a lot of software that's out there to help you come up with what your hourly rate is. You cannot discount your time, how much time it takes and you put in to getting something done and to offering a quality service product to your customer base. Okay, so that was just fun fact for free. But getting back to what marketing is at the base level, you have a thing, you want to show that thing out to other people and you want them to do something with it that is hopefully going to generate money for you. Okay, so that is moving. That is marketing. So moving on, marketing is also the process. Remember I talked about the process of building your image and your brand to gain respect, be noticed, which is exposure, and reach your specific goals. So every business has their own specific goals that are individual to you. And you should identify what those goals are, right? And everything that you do marketing wise should be in direct service of those goals. Okay, so it shouldn't be the other way around. You should be working smarter, not harder, if you've heard that before. And sorry if I'm looking down, I'm just checking my page to make sure that I shared it correctly, because last time all I did was reshare it to my own page. Okay, good. So, all of your marketing efforts need to be in direct service of your business goals and your business objectives, right? And so marketing is a process. So there are some things that you can do right away, and I'm going to share a couple of those things. But effective marketing, what I'm defining as effective marketing, is a return on your investment. That happens over time. So it takes time for you to get your name out there. It takes time to develop your customer base. It takes time to even identify who your target audience is. So don't be discouraged. Don't be disheartened if you're not seeing immediate returns. There might just be a few adjustments that you need to make. And also understand that it's going to take a little bit of time. It could take a couple of months for you to find out what is the best avenue marketing wise. Maybe it's social media works better for you. Maybe email marketing works better for you. That's going to take time. So just be patient with yourself. Give yourself a little grace. There's going to be trial and error, and but you'll get there in the end, right? But so anyway, like I said, this conversation will be targeted more towards entrepreneurs, small business owners, and side hustlers, but definitely don't feel like you are excluded if you don't fall into one of those categories. This could still be applicable to you because it very much falls also in line with personal brand. I'm not going to talk about personal brand tonight. Don't worry. If you've tuned in with me for any length of time, you know I'm a big proponent of personal brand, but I'm not talking about that tonight. I have a personal brand video. Actually, I have two, a part 1 and a part 2. So definitely go and check those out at a later time. But why is marketing important? So this is important for you to know why it's important, is because it helps you to identify and interact with your target audience, also called social listening. And so if you're just spinning your wheels doing a bunch of activities and just doing a bunch of motion and you're never really reaching anybody, hi Sissy, thanks for tuning in. And you're never really landing on the people who are most interested in your content and most interested in your product or service. You're just going to be doing a lot of stuff that's never going to land anywhere. It's never going to make you any money. So marketing is important to help you identify and target that audience, right? And interact, because a lot of times I see this so often, and people just don't understand the importance of interacting with your audience. You can't just push content and shove your content and your products and your services in people's face, and then you don't have a conversation with them. Like if somebody's liking your video, if someone comments on your post, go back and say thank you, or I'm glad you found this helpful, or ask them another question, because that just continues the conversation going on besides just, oh, those are, you know, dope t-shirts. Thank you so much. Which one is your favorite? Or why is the Dope Black Woman t-shirt resonating with you? Have a conversation and then take it offline, because that's how you're doing lead gen. I'm not getting lead gen yet, but I will. And that is so important than just putting yourself out there, especially if you are a customer service based business. You are dealing in the business of people. And if you're not comfortable talking to people and having conversations, you might want to reevaluate the purpose of your business. But it's so important to interact with that audience once you've targeted them, because that is how you retain that audience. And I didn't even write down retaining your audience, but once you've identified them, you want repeat customers, you want repeat business, and you want referrals. So you want to make sure that these people have a good experience when they come and interact with you. Okay, marketing is important to collect data and information that's going to help inform your business decisions. It's going to also help you to adjust your content and or approach. So if you put out a piece of marketing and it doesn't hit, it's not landing, then you have to adjust that. So maybe you've done, you know, a digital ad or something on Facebook and it just didn't get any leads for you. So maybe you might need to try Instagram, compare the two. And then if Instagram is equally not doing as well, then maybe you need to reevaluate if either your ad content is formatted correctly, because there is definitely a way to do digital ads. You might want to consult with somebody about that. Happy to consult with you about it. Or maybe it's just not resonating with your audience. Maybe it's not reaching your audience. I'll get into algorithms too. And so there's a couple of different things that go into it, but marketing can really help you inform your approach to your content if you need to make any adjustments or course corrections. So marketing, obviously, probably this should have been number one, is to help increase exposure. So you're getting your name out there. You're getting more visibility, more eyeballs on. When you came into this, I asked you, please take 2 seconds and share the video. What am I doing? I'm asking you to help market my web series to your audiences. So I'm asking you if you wouldn't mind me leveraging the people who follow you who might find my content interesting, right? And so that helps me increase my exposure. So that's why marketing is important in that regard. Marketing is also important because it helps generate revenue. This is going back to what I was talking about, effective marketing. Effective marketing leads to a return on your investment, whether that's monetary investment or whether that is your sweat equity, so your labor and your time. If you are not seeing a return on your investment, then your marketing is not effective, and you're going to need to, going back to the other bullet point, do some course corrections and some adjustments there. So what are a few things that entrepreneurs, small businesses, side hustlers need to be doing in your marketing efforts? Well, for one thing, you need to create a marketing plan. You need to create a marketing strategy. If you don't have that first, then you're just out here doing a bunch of stuff blindly and kind of, there's this expression, throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. That is not the way you want to go. It is a way to go, but it's not the way that my people want to go. Hi, Brooke. Thank you. It is not the way that we want to go as effective marketers, as effective business owners. We want to have a strategy. We want to have a plan in place. We want to know what we're doing. If we're employing people, we want to be able to communicate to our team members the vision, the purpose, why you're here, why you should care. Because when you get other people to care about what you care about, it just helps the longevity of your business, and it helps you to get out to more people, right? Because that person is going to tell somebody, it's going to tell somebody, it's going to tell somebody, right? So creating a marketing strategy or plan with action items and deadlines, okay? That is so important. You can't just write a paragraph and be like, okay, this is what I'm about to go to, and then you never attach any action to it, and then you don't make it time-based. It'll just sit there on that list until the end of time. Sis, bro, listen to me, okay? Just because you wrote it down does not mean it's going to get done. So you have to assign action items, tasks, and then make them have deadlines or due dates. So, you know, by, what's today? Today's April 6th. So maybe you say by May 6th, I'm going to give myself a month to find a web designer, and I'm going to have my website launched in a month. That is a time-based action item that is attached to your marketing plan. Okay, and then you should have a mission statement. Your mission statement should be in your marketing plan, okay? What are you doing? What is the purpose? Why do you care? And then why should I care? If you can't tell me what the purpose of your business is and why you are passionate and care about it, you can't expect your customer to do so, okay? It's great to have passion. You want to have passion because it's going to help you sustain and through those times when you're dealing with difficult customers or uncertainty or sales aren't coming in like you want them to come in. Your passion is what's going to push through those difficult moments. But if you have passion without a purpose, baby, that's so funny. I actually have a live called Purpose, something about purpose and passion. Go back in my MG Live playlist and check that out. But on there, I said, passion without purpose is a problem. It's great to have passion, but it cannot be all that you have. You have to have a purpose and a plan behind it. So another thing you should be focusing on in your marketing efforts is exposure by being visible. So that's through your website, through social media, blogs, podcasts, your email list, whatever it is, wherever you show up, you have to focus on gaining visibility there. And let me just say this. Yes, do have social media. Please do have social media, but don't only have social media. You want to have something that you own the IP. So IP is intellectual property. You want to have somewhere that you own that content. If Facebook, if Instagram, and this has happened, shuts down tomorrow and is like bankrupt, belly up, we're done, everything is gone. Your pictures are gone. Your video is gone. All of your posts are gone. And why? Because your content is being hosted on their server. And if they say we're shutting down, you don't own it. You don't have access to it. You can't get it back. It's gone. It's over. So what you want to do is have a website. And I would recommend having a WordPress website because WordPress is really run by the users. And so equally, you could get your website could get shut down and you wouldn't have access to your content, but you should be backing up your content as well, backing up your website and saving it on your hard drive so that you have your own content. But that's a different conversation. But intellectual property is so important. You should have social media channels, but you should have other places in which you show up. And that's going to also help with your ranking. And I'm going to get into that too. But how you rank in search engines and things like that. The more places you show up, the more places that there are to pull your content from. And that I'm not even going to get into that because I'm getting into the answer of a question that I that I took prior to this. But if you stick with me to the end, you will learn the answer to that question. If you have any questions now, drop them in the chat, definitely, and I will get to those as well. But so being visible and then creating visuals. So look, you don't have to be a graphic designer. You don't have to be this incredibly creative person to create some amazing and effective visuals, right? You can create printed materials like flyers. I think we're getting away from kind of printed materials with, you know, just trying to reduce our carbon footprint and things like that. And just with digital just being so much more engaging than printing materials. But I mean, I do still get postcards in the mail for landscaping companies, home improvement companies, healthcare companies. There's some businesses that direct mailers still are applicable to them, and that's totally fine. If that works for your business, continue to do that. But that is just a type of printed material. Digital mediums like video, digital ads, like I mentioned. Digital ads, guys, on Facebook and Instagram are so cheap. I mean, it is ridiculous. You can run an ad for like a week or 2 weeks for like $20, $30, you know, depending on the different criteria that you set for your audience and different things like that. It's so cheap. You should really be implementing some digital ads into your marketing efforts. And QR codes. I love QR codes because you can send people anywhere. You can send them to your website. You can send them to a PDF. You can send them to an email. You can send them anywhere. So I think QR codes are kind of underutilized right now. But if you check out QR codes, and they're free, like you could just Google QR code generator and you could just type in. Now there's some companies that they charge a subscription for the QR codes, and that can be beneficial if you want to track the analytics, like who's actually clicking on the URL that you're sending people to, the frequency, so that you can gauge if that piece of marketing is working for you. You don't want to be spinning your wheels with, you know, generating QR codes if nobody's clicking on them and looking at the content that you're sending them to. So you definitely want to keep that in mind, but I definitely recommend checking out QR codes. And then another marketing effort is that you should establish some type of lead gen. So when I say lead gen, it means lead generating. So there's some type of way that you are getting leads, potential customers. And that can be through online forums. It can be through pop-ups on your website. It can be through subscription opt-ins. So if you've ever been like on, I don't know, like a jewelry website, and within 10 seconds of being on that website, you get a pop-up to, you know, we'll give you 5% off your order today if you, in exchange for your email. So basically they're saying, we'll give you some money off if you agree to give us your email. And then we now have access to your inbox to push whatever content we want to push, however frequently and however often we want to push it. Email lists are a highly effective marketing tool, and goes back to that intellectual property that I mentioned. If you're not implementing some type of subscription email list, you are seriously missing the boat there. You're doing yourself and your business a disservice, because as I mentioned, if any of those platforms that you don't own go offline, you still have your customer base. You still have a way to contact and engage with your audience, and you still have a place that they can contact you. And email lists are very, very important. I have an email list. I'll see if I can find it really quickly, and I'll drop it in the chat. And my email list folks are called my MG Insiders. Shout out to my MG Insiders. What's up, y'all? If any of you guys are tuning in with me tonight. And you can set up the frequency in which you'll email your users. You can establish whatever content that you want to push out to your users, but you own that list. And they have agreed, they've given you their permission by giving you the list that they are interested in your content and that they are okay with you emailing them, because that is also a marketing no-no. It's a liability. You have to obtain permission before you market out to people. So making sure that you are establishing some type of lead gen. Now, whether that is some of those ways that I mentioned, or word of mouth. Let's not forget about word of mouth, and don't shake your finger at word of mouth. Word of mouth is very powerful. And for some business owners, especially small business owners and side hustlers, word of mouth is their bread and butter. So how you deal with one customer is how you get the next customer, because they're going to tell somebody, they're going to tell somebody. There's some businesses that are completely referral based. So you want to make sure that you are treating your customers very well and that you're producing quality products and services for them. But word of mouth is absolutely 100% a lead generating tool. It's a little hard to 100% depend on that. I wouldn't say depend on that 100% because, you know, after you've performed your service or sold your product to that person, it's kind of out of your hands at that point. And you're trusting that person to tell someone or refer you to somebody else. Whereas with an email list, you can continue to push content as much as you like. You can continue to you have a little bit more control over how you're getting those leads, basically. So email list is my next point, but I'm talking about that now. So who I use for my email list is MailChimp. There's tons of free email service clients out there. There's paid ones. MailChimp has paid and free services. I started out with the free, and then I realized that I wanted some other functionality. So I did subscribe for the one of their paid plans, and I think the next step up was like $14.99 a month or something like that. They're pretty reasonable price. So you can create, I love MailChimp because you can create pop-ups for your website. You can create landing pages. You can create tags that help you segment your audience into different areas. So I have different sign up lists. So I have like my one for my blog, obviously. I have one for my MDGTs. I have one for health and wellness, because someone who's interested in my blog posts might not necessarily be interested in my t-shirts, or someone who's interested in my t-shirts might not be interested in, you know, my workout playlist or whatever. So you have the ability to assign tags to those subscription lists, and then it automatically segments those new email lists into predefined segments, and then you can also section out those segments and do specific emails to those audiences. So I love it, and I think it's so great. I use MailChimp. ConvertKit is another one that I have heard of, and people swear by it. I have not checked out ConvertKit myself, but I know that it's very popular. So maybe ConvertKit is something you can check out. I'm going to drop these in the chat. MailChimp and ConvertKit. So check those out if you're looking for some email clients to email companies. Excuse me. Researching. So you have got to do your research. You've got to know what's going on in the marketplace. You've got to know what's going on in your given industry. You've got to know what's going on with your peers, and I'm calling them peers, not competition. Even though they are your competitors, don't focus on competition, because, you know, if you start comparing yourself to other people, no, we don't do that over here. We are who we are, and we have value because of ourselves and our individualistic traits and characteristics, and we have that value that we share out with the world, not by picking and pulling from somebody else's stuff. No sis, no bro, don't do that. But you need to be aware what your peers are doing in the same market and in the same industry, because the truth of the matter is, the fact of the matter is that you are competing with those same people for those customers. I mean, that is what it is. If you're both selling hand lotion, Erica, if you are, you know, following other design pages, right? You're being aware of what other designers are doing because you are competing for that business, right? Of course, you're still going to show up as yourself. You're going to be authentic because you're you and your designs are unique to yourself. But you need to be aware of what other people are doing. So that you can make sure that you are providing a comparable product, right? And maybe if you're not getting the sales that you want, you should kind of look at that, and maybe your product or your service is not up to par, is not up to standard with what other people in the same space are offering to your customers. So that's why you've got to do your research and be aware of it. Don't worry about like, oh, am I biting off of somebody else, or am I, you know, stalking somebody? It's not about that. You're doing market research, period. End of story. And also to be aware of trends. So like I mentioned, all industries, all sectors go through ups and downs, highs and lows, ebbs and flows. So what's hot one week isn't going to be hot next week, or something's coming up that, you know, you want to get the jump on. So you've got to be aware of the different trends that are out in the industry. Cross promoting. Oh my God. Okay, this is where I wanted to really get to. This is the meat of what I wanted to get to. If you are not cross promoting yourself as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as a side hustler, you are doing yourself a serious disservice. You are missing the boat. So I'll use myself as an example. I have 3 Instagram pages, 3 what I'll call brand or business Instagram pages, because I do have another one that's my private Instagram page that I'm hardly ever on that anymore. But so I have my Maya Gatewood brand page. And if you're not following me there, please do. I have an MG Live Instagram page, and I have an MDGT's Instagram page. So I make sure that whatever I'm posting on any of those platforms, that I am tagging the other account, so that whether or not the content is applicable to my audience, I am at least going and engaging with that content. And 9 times out of 10, if I'm doing an MG Live, I'm wearing my merch. Okay, I have an MG Live t-shirt on tonight, because I am marketing myself and I'm marketing my business. So I'm cross marketing right here. In case you didn't know, look, this is cross marketing live and in the flesh. I'm on Facebook Live, so I'm marketing my MG Live. I have on MG Live t-shirts, so I'm marketing my merch. And I am Maya Gatewood, so I am marketing my brand. So I'm cross promoting myself. So when I get to this holy trinity, this is like the sweet spot where I can come up with some really rich content for all of my pages and for all of my channels. And that is like holy grail. Even if, for instance, like my MDGT's audience may not be interested in my blog post, but my blog posts, the messaging, my designs, all of that stuff still under my brand umbrella. So I, at the very least, need to be interacting with the stuff. Need to be interacting with the stuff. But because of the way that I design my t-shirts and things like that, I design them with empowering messages, confidence messages. So the dope Black women, dope Black man, entrepreneur things. So like minding my Black owned business. You're on mute, which is like something trendy because of all these virtual meetings that we're all, you know, a part of during this pandemic time. It kind of helps to marry, I don't want to say marry, but it does help to fuse those audiences, if you will, where they could exist in a silo. They're kind of like, uh-oh, she has that message, and I think she has a blog about it too. Let me go check out that blog post, so that you can get some lead gens, but you're also cross-promoting across all of your channels and things like that. So if you're not cross-promoting, folks, if you are not posting on Instagram and then sharing that post on your Facebook page, what are you doing? Sis, bro, let's go. If you're not sharing, and Instagram is making it really easy now. Like if you share a story, you can select if you want to automatically share it to your Facebook stories, so that you're not duplicating efforts, but that you are showing up in as many places that you possibly can. So that is super important. Multiple channels. I talked about wearing and using your own products and services. So what if you're like an app developer or something like that? If you're not using your own app, I mean, hello. Or maybe you have, I don't know, maybe you came up with some type of like software, budgeting software or something, and you're not using the budgeting software. You need to think about that, why you're not using your own product. But you should be wearing your own merchandise, your own products, your own services. Erica, she's on the line. My sister, she's on the line. She's a designer. She designs and makes her own clothing. She wears her designs. She is a walking billboard. She's a walking marketing tool for her business. And her marketing efforts are in direct service of her business objectives, which is to get clients to make clothing for and to make apparel for, right? And so if she's wearing it, somebody like, oh, sis, I like that jacket. Thank you, I made it. And then you can have the conversation from there. So making sure that you're cross-promoting is super important. I just have 2 more points and then 1 question, and then we're gonna be done, guys. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. My next point is outsourcing your marketing. Guys, please, please, please do me a favor. Outsource your marketing. If you're not a creative person, if you are not a graphic designer, it is okay. It is completely fine. There are people in my profession who'll be more than happy to help you with your business, okay? Because we want you to look not only having your stuff out there, but we want you to look professional. And we want you to look polished and sophisticated and elegant, or whatever the culture and themes of your business is. If it's fun, if you have a daycare, you want it to be fun. You want it to convey the message and the feeling and the culture, the themes, the purpose, the whatever behind your business visually. And if you're not a creative person, if you kind of don't really know what you're doing, it's okay to raise your hand, and it's okay to outsource that stuff to people who can help you, because the worst thing you can do is try and do it on your own, and then it's just not hitting. And then you're sitting there scratching your head trying to figure out why nobody's clicking on your flyer or why nobody's going to your website when, you know, I'm sorry, but it looks like trash. Like, nobody wants to look at trash. Do you want to go outside and look at trash? No, you want to look at visually appealing things that are laid out in an organized and arranged in an organized way that help the reader digest what you're trying to convey to them and help them understand what the action item that you want them to take is. If that's not you, that's okay, but go find someone who can help you out with that. And there are a lot of websites. There's Fiverr. There was another one, Job something, where people can do quick jobs for you. You can even set your budget so that you're only getting inquiries from people or bids from people who are going to, who are going to fall within your budget. So check out some of those resources online. Graphic designers and web developers are not the same thing. So they can be if they have both that skill set. So you might need to look for actual web developers if you're looking to do a website. Okay. So just making that distinction, because I come across it all the time. Like, oh, my cousin's a graphic designer and he made this website, and you go to the website and it looks like your cousin did it. But so just make sure that you are sourcing the correct resource to help you out with what you need. Okay, my last point is DIY marketing. So if you don't want to outsource it and you are comfortable with designing your own things, or even if you're uncomfortable outsourcing, there are a couple of things that my first recommendation is always going to be to go to an expert. But if you don't have the budget, or if you just really just don't have the inclination to do that, there are some resources that can help you with pre-designed templates like Canva, PowerPoint. Don't sleep on PowerPoint. PowerPoint has come up, and PowerPoint has some really good designs that you can do something really quickly. Like if you need like some slides for a presentation, or if you want to do a flyer or something like that, and you wanted to put it together rather quickly, and you have Microsoft Office on your computer, and you don't want to deal with, trying to learn a new software, go to PowerPoint. Go to PowerPoint. Canva, I'll put this in the chat, canva.com. Even as a graphic designer, I use Canva. Sometimes if I need to put something together quickly, if I'm under a time constraint, I'll use Canva because they have pre-made templates. Sometimes I'll just scroll through Canva just to get inspiration, because sometimes I'll have an idea about how I want to do something, but I'm not sure quite how to lay it out, or I want to see some other options of how I could create some alternate layouts. And Canva is very good with giving inspiration. So even if you just want to get some inspiration, Canva, I highly recommend it. For my graphic designers out there, it's okay to use Canva. It's all right, because you know why? I had to give myself this pep talk. I'm still me. I still have the expertise that I have. I still have the skill set that I have. I still have the knowledge that I have. So if I'm using a program or a software to aid me and to just augment what I already possess, there's no shame in that. And I felt a little guilty when I would use Canva and some of those things like that, because I'm like, well, I'm not really designing it, but you are designing it. Because a lot of times I'll only create certain elements in Canva, and then I'll export them out to InDesign or Illustrator or iMovie, whatever I'm working in. And so I'm also applying these hands, this mind, to the work. That no one else can do. So don't feel guilty about using some of those services, some of those softwares, some of those programs to just aid you and just to help you out, because you are still you. You're still amazing and fantastic. You're still going to do the quality work that you do, and you're still going to bring your perspective to it. Okay. And then one more thing, and I'll get into the question that I have, and then we'll be done. Integrated website builders. So you don't have the money to pay a web developer. That's fine. And let me just check. This is an aside, okay, folks? Web development is expensive, okay? If you get a quote back and someone's quoting you thousands of dollars, sis, bro, take it from, it's about right. It's about right. Don't forget what I talked about before in the beginning, sweat equity. It's labor and time. And as someone who has done websites, I don't advertise that I do websites, but I have done them. I can tell you how labor intensive they are. And especially if you are a real web developer and you're writing code, you're writing HTML code and things like that, that is even just a whole nother ballgame. But if you don't want to go that route, by the way, websites can cost upwards of 10 to 15 G's to 20 G's if you get a really, really good one with a lot of functionality. I would say something on the lower end, maybe $2-3 grand for maybe 5 pages, a couple of email addresses, maybe some e-commerce, things like that. That's about comparable in the market. So just know that if somebody is coming to you and they're like giving you a price and you're like, $2,000, that's about right. If somebody's telling you they're gonna put your website together for $150, run. Anyway, if you don't want to go the web developer route, you can do the built-in integrated web builder that comes with your hosting company. So like if you're using GoDaddy, or I've used Yola up until recently, now I use WordPress, Intuit, Wix. Those are like built-in web builders with just widgets that you can just kind of drag and drop, and you can very quickly and easily build out your website. They're very user-friendly. They're very self-explanatory. If you don't have no type of design background, aesthetic whatsoever, they have templates already set up that you can just pick a template and just drop your content into. That's another way that you can go. Okay, and again, so that's a template already set up. You kind of can't break it. So you can be confident that you're putting forth something that's professional and polished. So those are just a couple of things that I would really recommend to my entrepreneurs, my side hustlers, my small business owners, even mid-sized business owners. Say you have a team of like maybe less than 5 people, whatever. These are some marketing efforts that you absolutely 100% should be implementing into your marketing strategy, into your overall business plan. So your marketing strategy should be part of your business plan. That's a separate conversation. Maybe we should do an MG Live about business plans. But specifically about your marketing plan, your marketing strategy, you should implement some of these marketing efforts if you want to have some effective marketing efforts. And again, what is effective marketing? We're defining that as a return on our investment. We're getting back money, we're getting back the labor, we can't get time back, but you're getting reimbursed for the time that you put out. So that is how you should be thinking about your marketing. If you have any questions about marketing, please, please, please do let me know. I have a office hours. I'm going to put this in the chat. Office hours. And what this is 20-minute free consultation with yours truly, MayaGatewood.com, the marketer, the consulting, the graphic designer, the everything that I've laid out before you at the beginning of this live. But in all seriousness, it's 20-minute free consultation. Maybe you just have a couple of questions. You don't need a whole long drawn out thing, but maybe you just need someone to connect with, a subject matter expert to make some recommendations. Do click that link. You can schedule a time with me. Make sure that you're clicking on the office hours one. That's 20 minutes. That one is free. I do have other marketing consultation on there, but that's a 30-minute and that is a paid service. So make sure that you're clicking on the first one that says office hours. And I'm happy to go through whatever your goals, your objectives are. Let's take a look at what you're looking to do for your brand, your business, whatever it is. And 20-minute slots. And if we go over, then we can look at, maybe signing you up for a more in-depth service. But definitely go ahead and check that link. My replay folks, click on that link if you want to talk to me, if you want to talk about branding, marketing, consulting, any of that good stuff. One question that I did receive, I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm just going to do this one question and then I'll be out your way. But the question was, how can you show up in search engines? So basically you Google yourself, you Google somebody, where are you ranking in those Google search results? There's a couple of things that you can do. Now, if we're talking, okay, let me separate this. So if we're talking about algorithm and we're talking about social media, that's algorithm. So if you're wondering how you can show up more frequently in people's news feeds and on the Explorer page, if you're on Instagram, then you need to be posting frequently and you need to be posting consistently. When I say frequently, I think 3 days a week is, typical. I don't know many people who have the time to sit there and post 5 days a week for brand. I'm not talking about pictures of your cat and your kids. I'm talking about brand and marketing efforts. I think that 3 days a week is sufficient. If you could do more, do more. But again, the more places that you show up, so your Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you're showing up, if you're on the more platforms you're on, that can also help with the algorithm and showing up to more people in more people's timelines and pushing your content out to more people. So that is for social media. If we're talking about search engines, so if somebody Googles you, how are you showing up there? Okay, so that's kind of like a little bit more complicated of an answer. So you want to make sure that you are filling in your SEO and your metadata, I'll explain what that is, on your website or on your blog. So SEO, if you don't know, stands for search engine optimization. So this is basically means when you go in Google and you type in like Gabrielle Union, for example, how many returns are you going to get on articles, content, videos, websites, social media, anything to do with Gabrielle Union, how many hits are showing up and where are they ranked? So if Gabrielle Union has a website, if done properly, her website should show up first, then maybe her social media shows up next, then maybe her whatever shows up next. So I would highly recommend that when you are creating your website, if you're doing it on your own, really make sure you research SEO. If you have hired somebody, they should absolutely know what they're doing and should properly optimize your website with the keywords. So basically, keyword optimization is keywords that users would enter into a search engine to find something. So say I'm looking for, I just did this the other day. I was looking for this video with this little girl, and she was saying something to her father, and she was asking her father if he loved her, and she kept saying it like over and over. And I'd seen it on an Instagram video, and there's no way I could find that again. So I Googled it and I said, "Little black girl video, love me," and it popped up. That is crazy, right? But because that video was tagged with those keywords, so that means the person who posted it, they put that in the description, and the comments about it also mentioned those keywords. So when you put in keywords into Google, this is a whole, and by the way, this topic is extremely broad and like very detailed and involved. There's companies, there's people who get paid to do this. So there's a lot that goes into it. But basically, you put in those keywords, and Google or the search engines, if you're using Bing or Yahoo, they crawl websites, they crawl all the websites to find those keywords. And when they find those keywords, they return those searches. The more keywords that they find in multiple places, the more they're going to return those results, and the higher they will be ranked. So that means the higher you'll be ranked in the Google search results at the top of the page. So I think there was some statistic, I can't remember it now, but no, I mean, almost nobody goes to page 2 of a Google search. You're looking at page 1 or you're moving on to a different search criteria. I mean, if you think about it, how many times have you gone to page 2? I don't even know where page 2 is on a Google search results. It's all the way at the bottom, by the way. But so that is one way. Rich content, which I just found out this week, is so if you're looking at a Google page, there's like questions at the very top, like 5 questions that pertain to that topic, but they look like they're user generated questions. That is called rich results or something like that, or rich content. Now, if you're showing up there, you're doing really, really good. But I don't want to get too off topic, but basically you want to make sure that you are using the proper keywords. So that means those keywords are showing up on your homepage and throughout your website. And the metadata is on the back end of your website. You want to make sure that those keywords, so for instance, my merchandise in my shop, anytime I put a product in my shop, I'm tagging it with specific keywords. Like this one, it would be MG Live, it would be unisex, it would be t-shirt, it would be men's, it would be women's, it would be live web series, it would be Facebook. Like I would tag certain words so that if someone was Googling something, I might show up and in those research results. And I might rank, and you also want to make sure you're ranking highly in the results. You don't want to be too far down on the page or on page 10, which nobody's ever going to look at. Okay. So that's keywords, appear in multiple places. Also paid advertising is another way to increase your ranking. So if you have paid advertising, if you ever looked on the left of like a Google search, you'll see those different ads there. Those also can help prioritize you over other search results. And again, we talked about how cheap ads are. There's even Google ads. There's sometimes when you set up your website, they give you free ad money so that you can create like 1 or 2 ads. So highly recommend looking at paid advertising. The other route you can go, and this is my last point, is you can pay a third party to do it. So outside of what I know about SEO, if I needed something more involved, I would just recommend that you pay a third party to do it because they have the expertise. And when it comes to SEO, it really is more of an art than a science. So it's like, I can't tell you to do this one thing and then all of a sudden you're just going to magically start appearing everywhere. No, it takes a lot of finesse and it takes a lot of research and it takes a lot of knowledge and trial and error. And those type of companies are just going to have more bandwidth than you as an individual might have. But yeah, so if you have done some of those steps and it's still not working, or you haven't done any of those steps and you just want to save yourself the headache, go ahead and hire a third party to help optimize your search engine results. And what you want to do is just go to Google and search SEO marketing company, and you'll get a ton of hits. There's hundreds of companies who do this. Okay, so I don't see any more questions in the chat. Hi, Eric. Thank you for tuning in with me. Just to make sure I'm not overlooking anybody. So it looks like I have all the questions addressed. There were no questions. But you know how we do my replay, folks. If you come up with a question at a later time and you want to drop it in the chat, please do so. And I will get a notification when that happens, and I will make sure that I come back and address your question. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for taking time. Oh my God, I came for an hour and I was trying to come here. I budgeted 30 minutes and you stuck in here with me. So thank you so much for doing that. Please do like and share this video so we can get some more eyeballs on this. I really, really appreciate it. And I thank you so much for taking time out of your busy days to spend a little bit of time with me. I hope this was helpful for somebody. And now that you understand marketing a little bit better for entrepreneurs, small businesses, and side hustlers. All right, guys. So I will see you on the next video.